Imagine this. It's late in the evening, and you're helping your elderly mother or father get ready for bed. The room is dim, soft, quiet. Maybe they've been looking forward to resting after a long day. Or maybe you've noticed they're not quite as sleepy as they used to be. You tuck them in, give them a kiss goodnight, and for a moment, you just sit there. Are they really getting the sleep they need? Are they going to bed at the right time? Does it even matter after 80? You might think, it's just sleep, right? It doesn't make a huge difference. But let me tell you, it does. And you need to understand why. You see, sleep in our later years becomes so much more than just rest. It's the cornerstone of memory, mood, immune health, and even longevity. Every little change in their sleep habits, every small shift in when and how they sleep, could hold the key to a healthier, happier, and more peaceful life for them. Now picture this. What if the time they're going to bed is causing more harm than good? What if something as simple as a bedtime adjustment could make all the difference in how they feel tomorrow, next week, or even next year? Today, we're diving deep into this. What time should the elderly really go to bed after 80? And why does it matter so much? We're not just talking about what time it should be, but also how to make that transition smoother, what the risks are if you get it wrong, and even how you can help your loved ones sleep better starting tonight. And don't worry, these are the same tips and insights that real doctors and caregivers use, based on decades of experience. If you've ever wondered how you can make bedtime something they actually look forward to, or how you can help them rest easier at night, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below with, "I'm here," and let's walk this journey together. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Words, where we share trusted, heartfelt insights to help you care for your loved ones in their later years. You'll want to stay with us for more videos like this. Now let's get started. Point 1. The ideal bedtime window, between. Let me tell you about Mrs. Johnson, who had always been a creature of habit. Every evening, without fail, she'd fall asleep in her favorite armchair by 7:45 p.m. Her children would chuckle, calling her old-fashioned. They didn't think it was anything special, just that she'd gotten a bit set in her ways. But here's the thing. For older adults like Mrs. Johnson, this early bedtime wasn't a quirky habit. It was a natural part of the aging process. You see, as we age, our bodies start to produce melatonin, the hormone that tells us it's time to sleep, earlier in the evening. It's why the elderly often feel sleepy sooner. Their circadian rhythm, the internal clock that governs when they feel awake or tired, shifts as they grow older. Now, many people assume that going to bed so early is unhealthy. They worry it's a sign of something wrong, but that's not the case at all. In fact, falling asleep between 7:30 and 9 p.m. can be ideal for the elderly. It aligns with the body's natural shift in sleep patterns, helping them get that essential restorative sleep. If you're helping a loved one get to bed at night, encourage a wind-down routine that starts around 7 p.m. Dim the lights, maybe offer a cup of herbal tea, or play some soft music. These little steps can signal the body that it's time to relax and prepare for sleep. But here's the thing. Falling asleep isn't always the problem for the elderly. Staying asleep is. And that leads us to our next point. Point 2. Sleep fragmentation. Why they wake up often. Now think about Charles. Every single night, right around 2 a.m., he wakes up, checks the clock, sighs, and then tries to fall back to sleep. He's frustrated, but he can't seem to stay asleep. For so many older adults, this is a nightly struggle. As we age, our sleep becomes lighter, especially during the deeper stages. That means the elderly spend more time in lighter sleep stages, like REM, and less time in the deeper, restorative stages. This leads to more frequent wake-ups throughout the night. And here's a common mistake I've seen. Families assume that this is insomnia and rush to medication as a quick fix. But what Charles is experiencing isn't necessarily insomnia. It's simply a natural part of aging. It's important to remember that older adults are more likely to wake up throughout the night. So what can you do? First, try scheduling regular trips to the bathroom before bed to reduce the likelihood of waking up in the middle of the night. Avoid too many fluids in the evening and steer clear of overstimulating activities right before bedtime. These small changes can make a huge difference in how well your loved one sleeps. But even with these efforts, some elderly individuals still struggle to feel sleepy at night, right? And that's where daytime napping comes in. But is it a friend or foe? Point 3. Daytime napping. Friend or foe? Let's talk about Nora. She's in her 80s, and every afternoon without fail, she takes a 3-hour nap. Sounds like a good thing, right? But here's the problem. Come nighttime, she lies in bed wide awake until well past midnight, staring at the ceiling. What's going on here? Long daytime naps can actually interfere with nighttime sleep. You see, when we nap too long during the day, we can suppress the production of melatonin, the hormone that helps us sleep at night. The body doesn't need to produce as much melatonin if we're already getting sleep during the day, which can make it harder to fall asleep when it's actually time for bed. This is where the misconception comes in. Many people think that any rest during the day is helpful for the elderly, but long naps, especially in the afternoon, can do more harm than good. The solution? Try capping naps to 20 to 30 minutes and keep them earlier in the day. This will help avoid that afternoon energy slump while still allowing for restful nighttime sleep. But what happens when they just aren't tired at night, no matter what? Let's dive into that next. Point 4. Loss of sleep drive. Why the elderly may not feel tired. Here's George, who's 85, and he insists he doesn't need much sleep anymore. He says he's fine with just a few hours of rest. But here's the thing, his memory is starting to slip, and he's not quite as sharp as he used to be. You see, as we age, our body's sleep drive starts to weaken. This means the urge to sleep isn't as strong, and that internal clock we rely on doesn't always trigger the feeling of tiredness at the right times. For George, this lack of sleep drive is taking a toll on his health, something many people don't realize until it's too late. It's a huge mistake to accept reduced sleep as a normal part of aging. Even if someone like George doesn't feel tired, he still needs sleep, quality sleep. The solution here is gentle daily movement. Simple exercises like walking or stretching during the day can help restore the circadian rhythm and make it easier for them to fall asleep at night. Exposure to sunlight in the morning is another powerful way to regulate sleep patterns and boost energy. But sunlight alone isn't always enough. Let's explore the role of light exposure and how it can transform their sleep habits. Point 5. Light exposure, the secret sleep regulator. Take Evelyn, who had a fall last year. Since then, she's hardly left the house. And as a result, her nights have become restless. She wakes up often, feeling confused and disoriented. What you might not know is that sunlight has a profound effect on our sleep. In fact, sunlight is a key factor in setting our internal sleep-wake cycles. When we don't get enough natural light, our body's rhythm gets all out of sync. Without that sunlight exposure, the body has a harder time recognizing when it should be awake and when it should be asleep. But here's the mistake many families make. They underestimate how much a lack of sunlight can affect sleep. Sitting inside all day and keeping the blinds shut may feel like a safe option, but it actually disrupts the body's natural rhythm. The solution? Encourage at least 30 minutes of morning sun every day. And if that's not possible, you can use light therapy lamps. These are specially designed to mimic natural sunlight and can be incredibly effective at resetting the body's internal clock. Now let's talk about something else that can keep them up at night: anxiety and loneliness. Point 6. Bedtime anxiety, loneliness. Margaret's situation is tough. Ever since her husband passed away, she's had a hard time going to bed. She lies awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling an overwhelming sense of loneliness. Bedtime used to be a time she shared with him, but now it's a quiet, empty space she dreads. This is more common than we realize. Emotional distress can disrupt the natural sleep cycle. When we feel anxious or lonely, our bodies produce higher levels of cortisol, the stress hormone that keeps us awake. And here's the mistake families make. They often ignore the emotional side of sleeplessness, thinking it's just a physical issue. But emotional well-being plays a huge role in sleep quality. Try comforting evening rituals, maybe a family call, prayer, or just a warm blanket with soothing scents. Creating a calm environment before bed can ease the mind and body into relaxation. But even with these comforts, something else is still standing in the way of peaceful sleep: the environment itself. Let's dive into that next. Point 7. Social cues and environmental triggers. Finally, we have Robert. He's a creature of habit, but he always found himself feeling tense when the nightly news was on. He didn't realize it, but the loud voices, the rapid-fire headlines, and the stressful stories would keep him on edge. What you might not know is that the environment around us plays a huge role in sleep. Negative media, harsh lighting, and loud noises can all make it harder to wind down. It's like the body gets a signal to stay alert, and that's the last thing you want at bedtime. The mistake people often make is thinking that the environment doesn't matter, that just because they've had a stressful day, they should be able to sleep through anything. But creating a calming environment can make a world of difference. Try using soft, warm lighting in the evening. Avoid screens after 7 p.m. and switch to calming sounds, perhaps nature sounds or gentle music. These little changes can help signal to the brain that it's time to relax and get ready for bed. It's heartbreaking, isn't it? Watching someone you love struggle with something as basic as sleep. You see them tossing and turning, or maybe they're up in the middle of the night, feeling restless, and you feel so helpless. You want to help them, but sometimes, no matter how much you want to make it better, it just feels like you don't know how. You wish you could turn back time, wish you could change their discomfort, but the truth is, it's not always that simple. The weight of it can be so overwhelming. But here's what I want you to know. Now you understand the why behind all of this. You've learned about the way the body changes, the way sleep patterns shift, and how the simplest actions, things like sunlight, bedtime rituals, and even emotional support, can make such a huge difference. And with that knowledge comes real power. You don't just have tips about bedtime anymore. You now have tools to show love. You have the ability to protect their memory, their health, their peace. You have the gift of understanding, and with that, you can offer something truly priceless. So, here's my encouragement to you. Take a quiet moment tonight. Sit with your loved one. Don't rush. Don't worry about time. Just be there with them. Ask how their sleep has been lately. And then listen. Just listen. It's in those quiet moments that we often find the answers. And it's in those moments that they'll feel cared for, valued, and loved. Even if their sleep has been troubled for years, even if it feels like it's too late, trust me, it's never too late to make things better. One night, one small change, one simple habit at a time. You can create new patterns. You can bring peace back into their nights. And that's a gift that can last a lifetime. To recap what we've learned today, we've covered 7 essential insights that can make a world of difference in improving sleep for your elderly loved ones. First, we learned about the importance of the best bedtime window, how aiming for a bedtime between 7:30 p.m. and 9 p.m. can help regulate their circadian rhythm. We've talked about how sleep changes naturally after 80, and why the deeper restorative sleep stages become more elusive. Then we explored the truth about naps, how they can either help recharge the body or disrupt the sleep cycle, depending on the timing and length. We also discussed how emotions, light exposure, and even the environment play such a crucial role in helping to create a peaceful and uninterrupted night's rest. Each of these elements is part of a larger puzzle, a puzzle that's about more than just sleep. It's about improving overall well-being, making sure your loved one is as comfortable, healthy, and happy as possible in their later years. And it's about us as caregivers doing everything we can to ensure they feel supported, loved, and cared for in their most vulnerable moments. Now, I'd love to hear from you. This is where the real magic happens, when we share our experiences and support each other. So, what time do your elderly loved ones usually go to bed? Have you noticed any changes in their sleep over the years? Have you found any routines that help them sleep better? Or maybe you're still looking for solutions? Share your story in the comments below. Don't be afraid to share even the small things. Sometimes it's the tiniest adjustment that makes the biggest difference. And who knows, your story might help someone else who's watching, someone who might feel uncertain or overwhelmed by the challenges they're facing. You might even find answers in the comments from other families going through similar struggles. If you found this video helpful, or even if just one insight resonated with you, I want to invite you to join our community here at Elderly Words. By subscribing, you'll be staying connected to a group of people who are all on the same journey, who want the best for their elderly loved ones, and want to learn more about how to make those final years as meaningful and peaceful as possible. We're here to support one another, to offer advice, and to bring you heartfelt insights on elderly care every single week. And remember, this isn't just about giving tips. It's about creating a space where we can all grow in understanding and empathy, where we can share what's working and what's not, and where we can lift each other up in the process. So if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to Elderly Words. We're here to walk this journey with you, every step of the way. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring. The way we treat our elders says so much about who we are as individuals and as a society. It reflects our kindness, our compassion, and our willingness to show up for those who need us the most. The journey can be tough, and there will be challenges along the way, but one thing I can tell you with certainty is this: love is the most powerful tool we have to give. It's what will make all the difference in the world. So stay compassionate, stay curious, keep learning, keep growing, and keep showing up for your loved ones. They deserve it, and you deserve the peace of mind that comes with knowing you've done everything you can to make their lives as comfortable as possible. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care of each other, keep showing love, and stay strong.